Hello, today is the 13th of June 2020. It is International Albinism Awareness Day. I am Michael Sabiiti, founder and director of the NGO Scosp, an NGO that is empowering people with albinism in Uganda. I bring you greetings from people with albinism under the care of Scosp. To you all God's people, ladies and gentlemen. To many of you, including myself, this International Albinism Awareness Day is different, as we commemorate this day amidst coronavirus pandemic. I'm quite emotional, but I will start my message with an analogy. In the mood usually at home when a baby is born. When a normal pigmented baby is born, it is the joy of every family member and their friends. But why is the mood different when a child is born with a condition called albinism? Once it has been confirmed that a newly born child has a condition, albinism, the mother and the child born with albinism are at a risk of being chased away because just that child has a skin and hair color that is different, and perhaps because the family beliefs are false that that child is born with a curse and will bring that curse to the family. This is due to inadequate knowledge about albinism in society. And this kind of attitude and perception of families, communities, and society towards people with albinism must change if we are to make people with albinism rise and shine. Imagine the pain inflicted on the mother and her newly born child with albinism. Imagine the pain of raising a child with albinism as a single parent. Imagine the pain of a mother detached from her family and her normal pigmented children, simply because a newly born child looks different from the rest of the children due to the condition albinism. Imagine and think about it for once. Children being left to grow up as though they are orphans, yet their parents are alive, simply because their parents separated because a child was born with albinism. Imagine if all this came to an end and children with albinism or people with albinism lived a free life from all this prejudice. This is a world that I would really cherish. This gross mistreatment of these innocent lives and the situation above is the reality for most of the children with albinism here in Uganda, just because of the knowledge gap about the condition albinism and the people with albinism. How I wish all parents, especially the dads, knew that it is not the fault of the child born with albinism, but rather it is because both parents, mom and dad, are carriers of of the gene, and thus both parents are the reason the child is born with albinism. It is high time some parents realized how the condition albinism comes about and started caring for their God-given children with albinism. It should have been yesterday for society and families to change, to begin to respect the inherent rights and freedoms of people with albinism, because they are created equal with everybody else and in the image of God. Witch doctors, families, everyone in any given society must know that killing, discriminating, rejecting, stigmatizing, rendering homeless, denying basic needs to people with albinism whatsoever is a heinous crime and a sin. Therefore, people everywhere must desist from these unnecessary, criminal, and meaningless acts. In fact, you cannot say that you love God if you hate any person with albinism who is created in the image of God. So, this must change. It is time for families, society, communities to start caring for people with albinism, because they are vulnerable already due to other factors such as the sun, which causes skin cancer due to prolonged exposure, low vision because they are created with poor developed retina, and the lack of other general basic needs that they really would be important. Today, we remember the people with albinism that departed from us due to skin cancer and ritual sacrifice. May their souls rest in peace. During this International Albinism Awareness Day, June 13th, 2020, we are standing with all people with albinism everywhere as we strive to make them rise and shine against all forms of prejudice and injustice. During this coronavirus lockdown here in Uganda, it is a big challenge for us to deliver the much needed essential supplies to people with albinism, such as skin cancer prevention materials, especially sonnets, sunscreen, lotion, sanitary napkins, and reading materials, particularly those children with albinism who stay in hard-to-reach areas. As I conclude my message to you today, on this important Albinism Awareness Day, I want to urge all parents, communities, society, and everywhere in the world that they should encourage other members in their localities to change their attitudes, mindset towards people with albinism and socially accept them, support them, the people with albinism, to rise and shine. Today, we still remind our Ugandan government to consider an office for a person with albinism at the Parliament of Uganda. Happy International Albinism Awareness Day on this 13th day of June 2020 for God and my country.